Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with me today. And today is a very, very special live. It's actually a training for all the mom entrepreneurs, executives, ambitious women who want to get everything done but are struggling with keeping up things with organizing and planning. This is specifically, we are going to talk to you with a very, very special friend and guest today on the show, who is my dear friend. I met her back in 2011, and it was just, we just, you know how it is when you meet somebody, you just click it, and that's how it has been. And today, she normally, let me tell you, she normally doesn't get on social media. She has no profile on media. She is something she does amazingly, this organizing, but she's not the one who is coming out to teach. But I convinced her just for you guys to come on the show and share all her secrets with us on how she manages, how she organizes. And let's hear her story from her. And let's invite Neha Soni from Chicago joining us live.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hey Neha, I am so grateful and excited about today's conversation, because this is something that I think I personally struggle. And I have seen you work, I have seen you manage your stuff. I am like amazed, and this is going to be a great show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, thank you. You make me sound like a super mom. I am not a super mom. We are all here to learn from each other. But the one thing that I do, and Pari and I have spoken about this previously, is something called bullet journaling. And bullet journaling is a system that was created by a gentleman named Ryder Carroll, who is a digital product designer, I believe.
Mhm.
And he came up with a method as far as organizing his life and his notes. And it's just recently really blown up as far as popularity goes. The way I got introduced to it was I had a girlfriend who said, "Hey, I'm going to go to this group in our neighborhood. It's just a bunch of women getting together, and they're just going to be drawing in their notebooks if you want to come." And I was like, "Drawing in a notebook? What do you mean?" And I'm very artistic. I really enjoy drawing. And so I told her that I will join her. And we went with a blank notebook. That's all you really need.
Mhm.
And sat down and we talked about, like, hey, what are you writing? What are you drawing? And ever since, about what, that was 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and it's stuck with me since. And it's something that I've done. And so what I will do is I will share with you guys my previous bullet journal, and then I will share with you guys my current one. And we will talk about kind of how to get started, what to think about. I think the number one thing that you just said, as far as what I find as a mom is, and I'm a mom of three, so my life.
Yeah, first thing is I want to ask you, Neha, is before we dive into the subject, introduce yourself. Like, what do you do now? Your life, how does it look like?
So currently I am I guess you could say, project manager for a healthcare company on the industry side. I work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and full time. And I am also a mother of three. So I have a now 6 year old, a 4 year old, and a 1.5 year old almost. So there's always something as far as the children goes. There's something always from school. Hey, I got to turn in a project. I got to bring this. I got to do this. And then, of course, I have a very large family outside of my immediate family that we end up having to get together quite often with as well.
Wow. So definitely you sound like, there's a lot on your plate. I mean, you have three kids, you have your job, you take care of, you have a big family circle or social circle that's going on there. Um, so tell me, I want to ask you before we dive into, I know since I've known you, you've been very, you've always got, it seemed like you always gotten everything together in the sense of planning. I know, I remember back in Boston, I met Neha back in Boston in 2011. And I know I saw the first thing I think I remember is that you had a meal planner that you knew that you would write the whole week's planner and say, this is how we, buy the groceries, and then we are very organized. now, when now that I'm a vegan, or in the sense non-dairy person, the one big thing to be successful for being a vegan, or is prepping your meals. That is the number one thing that needs, and every guru right now talks about it. So
Mhm.
it seemed like you've always been in that, planning and organize, something that came very naturally to you. Can you just talk about that, how it came to you?
Yeah, so I feel that in some sense, I like to have control of a situation. So the things that I can control, I would like to control. If that means that I wake up and I don't have to worry, hey, what am I going to cook today? What is in my fridge? What am I going to pack? If I'm going on vacation, what am I going to pack? Or what am I going to, it's just, it takes that stress away. If we have that meal menu, or if you have a plan for anything we're doing in life, if there is some sort of plan, it's easier to take that first step. So exactly to what you said, as far as being a vegan, I find that it's very difficult for me to do. I want to be a vegan, and I've started trying this, and I find that it's difficult on days when we haven't planned anything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And now an hour and a half later, we're still trying to figure out what everybody wants to eat, and there's nothing cooked yet. And then at the end, everyone's just so frustrated about, hey, what do you want to eat? You end up ordering out. You end up eating, maybe a frozen meal or something that makes me feel guilty, thinking, maybe I shouldn't have fed my children this today.
Yeah.
And so when that plan exists, as far as you go grocery shopping, now you already have in your mind, you've already prepped yourself for, hey, the groceries this week are probably going to cost about this much. So you're saving the time in the store as well, because you're walking in, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you're out of there. You're not, well, let me go up and down this aisle. Oh, this looks good. Oh, maybe we'll eat this. And then you put all this stuff in the fridge and you forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've wasted your time at the store. You've wasted your time now at home organizing that stuff. And then you've wasted the space in your fridge.
Mm-hmm.
But worst, you've wasted the food that, sometimes spoils because you didn't get a chance to cook what sounded really good that moment when you were walking through the store.
Right.
So I think that having that plan takes that anxiety off. And so that is the key thing, is making a plan. And what I think happens, for example, is you go through these social media things and you're like, oh, this looks good. Let me write down everything I need for this. That looks good. I'll write this down. Rather than really thinking about, hey, what can I use with what I picked for meal 1 to help with meal 2 and 3?
Right.
So a lot of that tension and stress was getting me to the point where I just didn't want to do anything. It was just overwhelming. Like, I'm never going to get a chance to clean this whole house. Let's just start the TV and forget about it for now.
Yeah.
Or, there's no way I'm going to be able to get my children to school, get the groceries we need, and be able to cook at once. So whatever, we'll just eat whatever's in the fridge somehow or another. And so it's taking that stress off. And then on top of it, you've got work, where you've got a work call coming in. And then as soon as you hang that call up, I've got maybe one of my children's doctor's offices calling me. And now I'm writing notes everywhere. So I've got a bunch of notes on my desk. My husband, who is very helpful, has no idea all of this is even happening in the background because he wasn't there when the call came in. And then I find myself frustrated with him to say, hey, why aren't you doing any of this? Why is this all falling on me? And it isn't that he's not wanting to help. It's just he doesn't know that it even exists to be able to help.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I feel that this journaling method that I have helps me to be able to even just take a picture and say, hey, you know what? This is my month. This is my week. This is what's happening that I know of.
I mean, everything that you mentioned, Neha, is so bang on. The scenarios and the way you explain that why planning is so important is absolutely amazing. I could never have put it so elegantly, so bang on like how you did. It's just we all need, and one of the biggest thing is there's a quote that I actually post a lot, which is A dream becomes achievable only if you start planning. A dream becomes a goal only when you have a plan in place.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's just a dream. Oh, I wish I can lose weight. I wish I can get organized. I wish I can do this. It's just a dream back in your mind, and you just keep wishing and praying things will change and happen. But the
Mhm.
truth is that we need to take control. Like, we need to take control of our own life, take charge of our own life, and take that steps, create a plan. And today, I'm so happy that you're here to teach us a little bit about how can we get started. Because for me, like, if there are total newbies, like, you are everywhere, all over the place, and I've seen, even I worked with great executives, perfectionists, ambitious, even they struggle with this, is getting organized.
Mhm.
Because they have this big things, like, I work with women who want to start online business, or work on their career goals. They see the whole like the end goal, and they get overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Let me just forget about it and go back to my 9 to 5, whatever the job that they have, and forget about their dreams. Because it just feels unachievable, just like you said right now. Like, it creates that overwhelm and anxiety, and that drains your energy, and you just don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you're here. And so, for all the newbies, what would you say? I know you have always been organized. You've always tried different methods.
Yes.
And now you got into bullet journaling, because trying all the different things. So you know the difference between just writing them on a piece of paper versus planning it, organizing it.
Yes.
Um,
The
so
sticky notes. I mean, sticky notes on your
yeah,
desktop, on the computer, the sticky notes around your desk, sticky notes on the fridge. And, they lose their glue because you've put them on and off so many times,
yeah,
where it just becomes overwhelming. And then what happens is you walk into your office or you walk into your kitchen and you see all this paper, and that anxiety just builds again of like, oh my gosh, I
yeah,
have so much to do. And, if you really look at all of those stickies and stuff you have, some of them probably only have one word on it.
right.
8:45. Oh, what is 8:45? What am I doing at 8:45? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of show you guys how I bullet journal.
Yes.
And then we can talk about different methods. Now, the
Mhm.
way I bullet journal is the way that works for me. It might not work for everybody. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there's a very traditional way of bullet journaling, and then there's a freehand way of bullet journaling.
Mhm.
I do the freehand version because that is what works with my lifestyle.
Okay.
Now, some people tend to have multiple bullet journals. I like to keep my work, my fun, and my personal stuff all in one. And
Mhm.
so what I will do is share my bullet journal from last year. I will
Okay.
show you guys my bullet journal from this year, which is in the beginning works. And then we can talk about just, any old notebook works, anything. I personally like something with the hardcover because I find that the hardcover lasts me for the year.
Mhm.
I like something that's plain. It could be just blank. It could be with dots, or it could be with just lines.
Okay.
The other thing I want to share is, along with bullet journaling, the one thing I do is I write a letter to my children every month.
Wow.
And so for me, I feel like there's so many memories we have with our children that we just forget about. And so in this one is my, I guess you could say, my bullet journal for my son. And just every few weeks, I will just jot a quick little letter for him. I do it with each one of my children. Birthdays, they get the longer letters, but it's just simply a way to say, hey, I love the way you say the word yellow. It sounds like this, because those are the memories we forget with them. So that's one thing I do as far as my children go, and one way to bullet journal for that. As far as my personal life, what I like to do is, my bullet journaling is my Instagram, it is my Pinterest, it is my anything conversation that you and I have that really inspires me. I will go ahead and write about it. I will jot it down. If I read a story that I really liked, I will go ahead and write about it in my book. I write about it in hopes to be able to share that same story with my children at night that night. And so it helps me stay connected with myself as well as my family. And so that's what I like to do. But typically what I like to do is start my year off. I don't know if you can see, but start it
Mhm.
off with a goals page.
Okay.
So, oh, sorry.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, start it with the goals, things you want to do, and they could be really big, they could be really little. It doesn't matter as long as you see the goals. Now, my husband says, "Oh, I can do all of this on my phone." He's
Mhm.
right. He absolutely can do it on his phone, but I've never seen him pull up his things to do list on his phone and find what he needs to do on there. I've never seen, or the other thing is like if I really like something, I'll do a quick drawing of it. And he's like, "Why? Just screen capture it." And I'm like, yes, I can screen capture it, but now I'm scrolling for like 45 minutes trying to find that picture, as opposed to having it written down of, hey, this is the website it's on and this is what it was.
Right.
So yes, all of this can be done digitally. If it works digitally for you, that's wonderful. What I find is showing my family, especially my little ones, that you can disconnect from any electronics and just have a pen and paper and write your thoughts down is something that's essential. Whether you're at school, work, personal, anywhere, it's essential to learn that not everything has to happen on a computer screen. So the other thing I like to do is I always have a gratitude log.
Okay.
So I keep track of anything that I appreciate for the year, and I will just write down, hey, I appreciate, I don't know, it could be something as little. Here's my first thing. I appreciate always having guests in our home. Just little things. It's anything big or small, it doesn't matter, but it gives you a chance to, especially on those frustrated days, to be able to say, I am happy for what I have, and what I have is sufficient. I like to keep track of credit card bills. So how much ever we're paying each month, and then really looking at it and saying, okay, why did that cost that much this month as opposed to the previous month? I like to keep track of like house payments, so that we have a goal of, hey, this is how much we have left that we're trying to pay off. I think this is a nice one about sweet and low. I like to keep track of days I can go without sugar.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So that would be kind of nice with your vegan, to keep track of how many days or what worked that week, what didn't work.
Right.
I have a running log. So any day I go for a run, I log how many miles I ran for the day. And then I also like to write down how I felt after my run. Because on days that I don't want to go for a run, I can read okay, I should probably go for my run. And sometimes the run is not as exciting as being able to come home and just write, hey, I ran.
Yeah.
It's like a quick success, and it's an easy way for you to check off a success box. So this is kind of what we were talking about. If you're surfing online and you see a restaurant or something you want to try, and we say, oh yeah, I want to try it, I like to write it down just because it kind of, on days when we're like, oh yeah, let's have a date night and we don't know where to go, I can just open this up as opposed to opening the computer and spending 45 minutes looking at what we want to go to eat at. I like to keep track of birthdays. So I keep track of birthdays, friends, families, and I love that because what I do is at the beginning of every month, I will look at those dates and I will know to text that person to say happy birthday or give that person a phone call. And it's just always nice to get that call from somebody to be like, oh, wow, I didn't really think that person was thinking about me today.
Right.
I like to keep a dream log. So anytime I have a dream, I wake up and I remember what it is, I'll go ahead and write about it. Now, all of this seems overwhelming, but I want you to know it did not start this way. It just built this way. Okay.
I know I'm seeing your amazing pictures, and in my mind, as you were showing, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how much time did that take to get everything done? I'm just, those are my thoughts right now as I'm looking at it.
Yes. So keep in mind, this is a 2-year journal. So it's been built over time. It did not happen. And I'll show you my newer journal, and then you can look at that. That's the other thing I like about bullet journaling is because I'm artistic, I realize I can't pull out my paper and my pens and my paint like I used to without my children getting into it. Whereas this still gives me the creativity to sit down, do a quick sketch, get my creativity out, and not have it be something that's taking over all the counter space. This is kind of just a conversation I think you and I had actually about chakras, and I decided to write about it and keep track of it. Something I want to learn is the military alphabet, so I had kept track of the military alphabet. So when I'm on the phone and I'm trying to give my name, I like to make sure I'm spelling it out appropriately with the military alphabet. Books I read for the year, I keep track of. Basically, it's just anything and everything that I want for myself. Now, we will talk about the meat of this. So I'll tell you all the things I keep track of, and then I'll talk about the dailies and the weeklies. So other things I like to keep track of is, podcast I want to listen to. I'll just write them down in here. So if there's a podcast that I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to this one and I want to listen to it, I can go ahead and look at it. If I'll do like quick drawings in here, like we talked about. And some of them are very fancy and some of them are not. This is a nicer one.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And then some of them aren't, like this one was very simple. It doesn't have to be fancy.
Right.
And then the last thing, which I like to keep pictures in here. So I'll put pictures and stuff because what I find is we do all these things. We do so much stuff, but it's everywhere. It's not in one place where you can actually identify, oh yeah, hey, that was nice, or I enjoyed doing this. So this was one thing, like we recently bought a new home. And so we're looking at, how high do you hang the vanity mirror versus the vanity height? And it's just easier to write it down. And now when I go, I'm just like, okay, this is how I want to hang this, as opposed to trying to pull up the websites later. So this is a journal that's been done. It's been abused. It's been marked. But again, this takes time to build to this. As far as this year's journal, you'll see, this is my March page. Not so exciting. It has nothing on it but the word March. But if I'm on the phone and I'm talking to the doctor, I can doodle something and it builds the page if I want to. You don't have to.
Right.
The way I keep track of my month, is I'll write just the date up on top, and then I just write all my dates all the way down. And then I write things and I fill them in as need be. I like to do at least 2 months out, so that way I can see what's happening in April. If something comes up, I can write about April as well. What some people like to do is a weekly. So what they'll do is they'll have their month page, and then they will plan for the whole week. My life is not so eventful. On a day-to-day, my children go to school at the same time. They come home at the same time. What is eventful is the in-betweens of, hey, today is, I don't know, like construction day at school. They have to dress up as construction workers. I'll take note of that. I will take note of my daily goals for the day. So if I have a goal of I want to go to run, I will go ahead and make a red circle next to that date, because that tells me, okay, red circle means I go for a run. I keep track of things that way. Or shopping. Here is the menu. I like to keep a menu at the back, and then just, okay, this is what we're buying for the week.
Right. Instead of, I remember anytime we go to grocery stores, we end up buying more than what we went for. And we just, every time I go, I'm like, how did this become $150? Like every time I'm just wasting money. Just, if I just take 10 minutes of my time planning, I could avoid so much stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is, don't create the wheel. If the menu worked on week 1, it will work again for week 3. So you just need 2 menus. You need week 1 and week 2, and then just flip-flop between them, If there's a recipe I like, I'll go ahead and write it in here. It's just the little things that writing them in. The other thing is to be certain to have that first page with your goals and really break them down. For the month of February, here is what I want to do. For the month of March, this is what I want to do. And by writing those things down, you're able to go ahead and say, every month when I look at that, I'm like, oh, I haven't done this. What can I do to progress on that? So really break it down either by the month if you need to, like I have, or break it down per week to say per week, here are the steps I will take to get to the ultimate goal that I have for 2021. Right. And the other thing is that what you were talking about, I use many colors. I use many stickers. I do that. You don't have to. You could do it in black and white. It doesn't have to be. It's about you. It's not about, how pretty your journal looks. It's more about how pretty the rest of your life feels when you're not stressed over a whole bunch of pieces of papers. The one thing that happens sometimes to me is I will take notes on one thing, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so messy. I don't understand it. Now what? And what I find is once I take notes on that piece of paper, I will go ahead, take 2 minutes, just organize my thoughts one more time. And then instead of rewriting it, I will cut it out and I will glue it into my journal with tape or anything, because then I can refer back to it. I know where it is.
Right.
You know, it's like if I tell my children, oh my gosh, where's my bullet journal? They will run around looking for it because they know it's like everything is in there and mom needs it right away. Well, so really that's all I've been doing. It sounds like it's a lot, but it's really not. So like if, you know, the big thing is like you go on vacation and you think like, oh my God, yeah, we're going to go on vacation. And then we're frantically looking for things that we want to do on vacation. So if I'm going to go on vacation, I like to, you know, keep track of that. Like, hey, we're going to go on vacation. This is the place we're going to see. And these are the things I want to see. And if I have that page already made out for a few weeks down the line, it's easier for me to write down those things, as opposed to not having anything written down and just figuring out when am I going to do this or how am I going to do this. Just to have a little planning goes a long way.
Absolutely. And, you know, I totally resonate with everything that you mentioned. And especially me, when I'm working with clients, I'm just taking notes everywhere. I have like small pieces everywhere and I'm scribbling and I just don't know what it is. And I'm struggling and I go back and try to look at the notes and it's better. Okay, you know what? It goes back to square one. And then I start recreating that again, doing Excel sheets, doing this fancy Excel sheets, but just nothing works. I'm so, after this conversation with you, I'm so motivated to try this. And one of the things that I want you to touch upon is like, how much time does it take of your day? Like, how much time do you invest in keeping up with it? Or how do I make it so natural? Like, what can I do to make it a habit for myself?
Okay. The most amount of time I've ever spent is probably an hour. And that's because I was at the store trying to find a journal I like. Okay. As far as keeping up with my journal, it's every day, 2 minutes. You keep it next to your desk. As soon as you wake up, you look at it, you say, oh, okay, here's the day. Here's what needs to be done. You know, just something little, cross it out, and then you can worry about the next thing and the next thing. So you're not spending hours and hours on this. If you find that you're spending an hour, 2 hours trying to organize your book, you need to stop organizing in the sense of it's over organized, where you're not finding anything because you're too paranoid about, oh gosh, I made a spelling mistake, or oh God, this doesn't look pretty. I mean, some people, they do phenomenal bullet journaling. You Google bullet journaling and you're like, oh my God, they spent hours drawing that. They might have, but that is something that makes them happy. That is what their passion is, right? And if you find that your passion is not drawing, it's not calligraphy, that's fine. Just do it plain with a big pencil or a pencil or a big pen. I would recommend a pen as opposed to a pencil because the papers start rubbing against each other. And just one line things. Start doing one line at a time. It doesn't require every single day. However, I recommend as soon as you wake up, you know, to open up your book and just say, okay, this is what's happening today. And it will help frame your day for you. It will be something you could do even at night, you know. It could be something at the end of night of saying, okay, here's what I accomplished today. Here's what I want to accomplish tomorrow. My children see me doing it often, where even my little one, who's 6, is starting to try to bullet journal, which I think is cute. And look at her bullet journal. It's so sweet.
Wow.
She knew her multiplication for her 9s, so she wrote them down. She'll write down songs she likes for the day. She'll write down who she loved for the day.
Wow.
So it's just something little to let them know pen and paper are something that can do great wonders, and they historically have. Everything that's ever really started has been with pen and paper.
Absolutely. I'm just loving this. I'm learning so much in today's conversation is how I'm thinking right now, how I can get my 5-year-old into this so he can start, because I make him do affirmations, I make him do this gratitude at the end of the day. So how amazing it is if he can take his own book and write. Oh my gosh, that is just that idea is just exciting me. Like, wow, that is so, that creates such great foundation for them for the future of, like, okay, I can get organized, I can put them on the paper. And also, it's not just about organizing, it's about getting clarity.
Yes.
uh,
That's key.
Clarity is power. So when we are clear about what we want, where we are, we always forget where we are, and we always look for the destination. But first we need to know, okay, this is where I am, this is the weight I am. I know my goal weight, but I forget. I Because of anxiety and fear, I don't step on the weighing scale because I don't want to look at the number.
Right.
And that doesn't take us anywhere, because we need to accept who we are
Mm-hmm.
before we even start. So I love that idea of introducing this to the children, so they are empowered of this process.
Mm-hmm. And you can do it for little stuff, even like cleaning the home overwhelms me, I'll be honest.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so what I found in my journal is, okay, Thursday, I clean the bathroom. I know that the bathroom has to get cleaned on Thursday. So I make time for that when I know it has to be done because I see it's written,
Right.
as opposed to arbitrarily telling myself, oh, the bathroom should be cleaned this week. Then it's obviously not a chore I want to do. So it's
Yeah.
not today, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then I'm like overwhelmed at the end of the week. I'm not happy with me because
Mhm.
I failed myself. I
Mhm.
failed something that I told myself I want to do.
Mhm.
And so when it's written down and I can cross it off, it feels like much success to be able to just cross it off.
Right, absolutely. And that feeling is what we all try to get, is whether it's in career or relationship, we want to feel successful. And when we do this process, we activate that feeling often. And this is what the manifesting is all about. When we repetitively activate that feeling, it becomes a part of who we are.
Yeah.
Success comes easy to us because we know what that feels like, we know what success feels like.
Yeah, and the other thing we were talking about is the way the internet is these days. I feel like it makes so much stress for us mothers.
Hmm.
Rather than helping us, it creates more stress when we see these, like, you know, back to school, when you see these children dressed perfectly, holding their slates and taking these nice pictures. And I'm like, are you kidding? My kid like spilled milk on himself twice. The other one, the other one's still crying because she's not happy about her hair. And I didn't even pack their lunches yet. And these moms are outside holding these signs. But
Right.
what we don't know is that mom took that picture 2 days ago
Yeah.
on Saturday morning, and she's posting it now. And
Hmm.
so don't overwhelm yourself with trying to be perfect. Be who you are by organizing just the little things that you can control.
Yeah. Yeah, we often stress about what we can control, forgetting about what we can do. What can I control right now? We can
Right.
control the way we perceive our day. We can control the way we manage ourselves, our emotions, our meals, everything. And you're so right about the social media, because I see, like, I run a nonprofit. I'm doing this business, working with women. I'm also a mom of 2 children. I'm at home taking care of the house, and I'm doing so many things. And I see when I go to a party and I'm seeing these women doing all fancy dinners and stuff. I'm like, where did you get the time to do all of that? And I self-sabotage. Oh my gosh, I'm killing myself, like thinking like, oh, I need to step up, I can do it more. And just being in that anxiety mode, and sabotaging myself, not knowing that that mother might have been spending hours, that mother is killing herself too to do what she's doing.
Yes. And it could be that the mother, was organizing, not saying that you're not, but to be able to say, okay, you know what, let me get the groceries done on this day so I
Right.
know to shop on this day and to prep on this day,
Yeah.
to make that elaborate meal. And it's not that she's doing everything in one time block. She's doing
Right.
this throughout the week, throughout the month. She might have been planning for this months in advance.
Yeah.
And it's taking to to get your results, take the pressure off as much as you can by doing the baby steps on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have all these things like, oh, I want to do this and I'll do this and I'll do that. No, write them down and see, have I done this? If not, what can I do to get it done?
Yes, absolutely. I love everything that you mentioned, and it is so this is so needed. This information is so needed, that how can we get organized? How can we start? The most important out of this conversation is start your plan. Like get a plan for your life, for your day, for your goals. Because that's when we know whether we are moving ahead. Because it's the quote, progress over perfection. Not dwelling on being perfect, but just making that steps.
Yes, and eventually your books will start looking like this, where somebody looks at you and says, oh my God, but they don't realize that, you started with blank pages. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, just building slowly and steadily. And you find what your habits are. You learn about yourself. And I think when we get married, we have children, we progress in our career, we lose a little bit of ourselves. And so this helps us kind of bring the focus back to ourselves as women, as individuals, of this is who I was before I knew any one of you.
Yeah. Wow. I am so inspired and motivated, and I have my journal here, and I'm going to work on that. This is my journal. This is how I have started writing, and my goals and stuff, and I'm inspired to do this. Now my goal is to make it a habit. So I'm going to make this a habit, keep it with me constantly. And I love everything that you said, the gratitude journal, the dream log. I love about that. I love the credit card thing, because I am so bad in managing numbers. Like, I literally get scared to look at them. Like, I don't want to look at the numbers. Because it just gives me anxiety. That's something that I'm personally struggling with, and I feel like that's definitely I need it, and I'm gonna work on it. And as an entrepreneur, as I think it's like a spiritual entrepreneur, one of the things we always struggle is with the money management, because that doesn't come so naturally for spiritual entrepreneurs. Like, it's also the mindset piece of it. Oh, I don't want to talk about money, I just want to serve. But business doesn't work like that. You got to look at your numbers. You got to see where your drains are, where your energy leaks are. Maybe you're subscribing for something for months and you don't even know you're subscribing it, and money is going away.
Yes, that it could be used for something that's, something that your clients would like, something that you would like to be able to present.
Right.
And that's just it. It's just keeping track of us. We have these, it's so easy to buy things online. Just, it's just tapping everything. Keep your journal next to your phone, maybe. So when you wake up, or when you're going to go grab your phone, wait a minute, why don't I do it in my journal before I do it in my phone?
Yeah.
And that will help build that process. And I'm telling you, Pari, as soon as you start building this thing, it will become your Bible. You will be constantly going to it, referring to it, writing into it, because you realize how much relief you get too. To be able to just journal something quickly to your child in there, or quickly to yourself, it's just a nice way to just release whatever it is that you have building up throughout the day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Neha, for coming here and teaching us how we can start planning, how to get organized, and the importance of doing so to be successful in our lives, to whether it is in our relationships, our career, or just achieving our goals.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you one thing. If we need more advice, if we need more guidance, would you be available to come and talk to us again?
Absolutely. I would love to. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer any questions, any requests, anything like that. Absolutely. I think ultimately it's when we stick together that we can help each other.
Yes. And to all the audience who are watching us here live or after the live, if you have any questions, or you are facing some struggles getting organized, reaching your goals, give us your questions so we can get Neha back on the stage and do a question Q&A session. Maybe you have struggling with something that is just not happening, how to get past. Maybe it's a mindset block. Maybe it's a tool that you need. So put all your comments on the section below so that we can read them and we can get her back to answer all those questions again. So
Thank
Radhika,
you.
Radhika is here. She says, Rockstar Mompreneur, big hi to you both. So
So sweet. Thank you.
thank you, Radhika. And we have Jyoti here. We have Anita. They're watching us. And I hope to all you moms, to all your ambitious women who are there to rock, to be successful, this episode has been helpful, because for sure it has been for me personally. Although I have been doing this for many years, one thing that I want to say is we want to do everything by ourselves. We never think that, oh, I need to ask for help. I need to, like, I don't even get that. I just feel instantly I have to do it all by myself. And we never ask for help. And this is where, again, you mentioned, we talked about this before we started, and you mentioned this is the programming.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's the programming society pushes on us, be the perfect CEO, be the perfect employee, be the best mom, be all of these pressures that are on us where we feel like we fail if I have to ask, like, how do I do this? Or can you, even something simple like, hey, can you go pick my kid up from school because our kids are friends and they live next door? You feel like this, you just shrink asking for help. And it's something that we have to just realize it's okay to ask for help. We need help. And when we ask for help, another mom feels the relief of, okay, maybe I can ask for help too, and I'll let her be better at whatever else she wants to do. So I think we have a question. Right?
Yes, Vinodji, welcome back. Yes, please ask your question. We have Neha here to give us all the answers. What is your question? So as she puts that on here, I know Vinoji, she has a boy and a girl who is 15 and 6, I believe, or 9, I believe.
Oh wow!
And she is from Canada. She's a rock star. She's been meditating with me for a long time. She's amazing. So Vinoji, as you type that question, if anybody out there who is watching, if you have any questions, let us know. Okay, she has a question. I get hung up on small things sometimes. When you said to keep a journal, do you keep multiple journals? One for do list, one for thoughts, etc.
I do not. I keep everything in one. So my go-to list for what I need to do will stay in the same book. And the reason why is it simplifies my life. I am not worried about which book I'm writing in because I don't want to be writing in multiple books. I like to keep everything in one. As far as my thoughts, all of those things go in one. How I feel for the day, I will write everything in one. There's plenty of pages in here. What am I saving those pages for? I might as well just include a page for whenever and however I want to include my thoughts, include my go-to list, include, I keep track of, like when I was pregnant, they told me I was pre-diabetic. So I keep track of my fasting glucose levels. I'll keep track of that in here. Water bills, just everything in one. Make it easy for you. Don't make it harder than it has to be. So you're carrying one book if you decide to carry anywhere, or packing, you're only packing one thing as opposed to multiple things.
Okay, thank you, Neha. So Vinoji, I hope you got your answer. One thing I had to add on to that same question is, so I see that you have tabs on the pages. So is that how you go to that section, like where to go if you need to find it?
Yes, there's certain things that I look at more often. Like I was telling you to learn like the military alphabet. I know I'm going to look at that every time I'm on the phone, so I like to tab it. Some of the other things I tabbed so that I could go to them for our discussion today. That's why they're tabbed. But, if I'm learning about something about photography that I want to write about, I'll go ahead and write about it in my book as opposed to, looking it up every single time. Or we were going on vacation to Toronto. So what I'd like to do is just write down all the places I want to visit there. I'll write down what times they're open. And so that when we get there, we already have a nice itinerary of, hey, this is what we can do at this day and this time, as opposed to, oh, we woke up too late, now we can't see it, or we're not going to make it there in time. So keep everything in one and just, use it as you need to. At the beginning of the month, I'll write a things to do list. So that goes back to Vinoji's question of everything I want to do for that month, and then just check it off as I'm doing them. And then keeping track of other things as far as, if my child has like a birthday party to attend, I'll write that down with the address right here. Or if I need to send out a birthday card to somebody, I'll keep track of everything I need to do on that month page before I get into the days of what needs to happen on which day.
Wow, that is awesome. Vinoji, if you have any questions, you can ask so now, but we are kind of wrapping the session here. It's been really, really insightful, and I think this really motivated me personally to start planning, to be successful. This is what I need right now. And also the biggest motivation for me to do this is I'm not constantly on my phone. I'm not constantly, holding that in my hand. And sometimes you get distracted. Okay, let me go and check on my Instagram. Let me go do Facebook before I put this on. So my focus is distracted. So this will help me work with that anxiety and be more focused in my goals. So I love that part about having a journal, like having this paper pen. And I just yesterday I spoke to you. I mean, we have this event today. Yesterday, I went to Amazon and ordered some colorful pens just for me. Because I am like so inspired, motivated, like I need to do this. And I love coloring. I love putting clouds. I did that all, in my school as well. So I want to get back to that creative thing. And also, like, as you said, opening up, keeping those creative juices flowing.
Yes.
So you're not, stuck on something, and you have that no resistance. You have it open. The channels are open.
And that's one thing that you say. What I like to do is because yes, when I'm on the phone, I'm doodling, and then what I find is this is what my page looks like, because when I'm on the phone, I just open up one of these as opposed to doodling on those notes. So now your notes have doodles, they have phone numbers, and they have notes of what you guys talked about. I would rather just doodle on one page, and it now makes my page look fancier, and it's not that I spent all this time doing it. No, I was probably on a phone call and doodling on here as I was writing my other notes down.
Yeah. Wow. I just love everything that we talked about. And thank you, Neha, for taking time today and accepting this invitation to come live and this subject. I'm so grateful, and we would love to have you back. And as we progress, maybe we'll have more questions coming up as we are doing this. So I would, everybody who is watching, please put your comments and your feedback about this episode and give us your questions. And so we can come up with more videos and more content for you guys.
That would be great if you come up with a bullet journal, and then maybe a few weeks later we can share like, hey, this is the progress. And you'll see that that journal gets filled faster than you know it.
Yes. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this live and watching this with us. I hope you're as inspired and as motivated as I am right now. And we'll see you again soon. And also, I want to mention everybody that the Conscious Creators Bootcamp, mini bootcamp is starting this Sunday. So the registration will close soon up. So make sure you go to manifestwithpari.com/bootcamp. I'm going to put the link here. So make sure you check it out and register right now, because that is a 5-week boot camp where we are going to work together every Sunday and talk about resilience, talk about managing stress, anxiety, everything that we actually cover right now, which is pretty amazing. Connecting, how do you connect to your heart? Because one of the biggest questions I get is, do I listen to my mind or do I listen to my heart? how do I go about it? So we're going to talk all about that. I'm putting the link here. Go check it out. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly via my email, connect@paripatri.com. And we'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, Neha.
Bye. Thank you. It was great seeing you.
Yes, yes.
And pleasure meeting the guests that came on. I appreciate their time as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.